In this B2B sales funnel blueprint, you're going to learn a simple automated process for transforming prospects into leads and then pre-qualifying them before you ever get on the phone. Hey, I'm Jason, and if you're looking for the latest in traffic and conversion strategies to help grow your business, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Look, as business owners, we wear multiple hats throughout the day, and there's little worse than feeling like your time has been wasted or you could have spent it more effectively. And of course, once you hang up the phone with a prospect or you're walking away from an in-person meeting and you just know that there must have been some way to prevent you from meeting with someone who is so unqualified, this blueprint is going to be for you. So what we'll do is we'll go through the overarching process of what the lead generation process looks like, and then we'll take a deep dive into the 7 different elements of this funnel. So by the end of it, you can take all of these strategies and tactics and apply them in your own business so you stop wasting time with unqualified people. Now, this is a diagram of the entire sales funnel process, and of course we start with prospects. This represents everyone in the world who might be a good fit. So it's not literally everyone in the world, just people who would be a good fit for your product or service. And through advertising and a content marketing strategy, you'll transform those prospects into audience members. So these are people who are following your social channels. Maybe they're subscribed to your YouTube channel, or they've just seen your ads a couple times, so there's a certain level of awareness that you actually exist. And once that awareness occurs, then you want to take those audience members and convert them into leads via something called a landing page, which we'll get to in a little bit. And once you have their contact information, this is where the conversion process starts, where you start warming people up and showing them what you can do to be more helpful to them beyond the ads and content and emails that they've already received. And of course, finally, we hope that they become a customer. So here's a diagram of what our specific B2B sales funnel blueprint is going to look like. We're going to go through each one of these in detail so you know exactly what you should and shouldn't do at each step of the process. So we'll start with your traffic sources. Then we drive all of that traffic to something called a landing page, where we offer something for free in exchange for collecting their contact information. And then of course, we actually have to deliver on whatever promises were made on the landing page. We'll get to that in a little bit here. And then the page that comes after the landing page is actually where you're going to start booking sales calls or booking sales appointments, or just getting the sales conversation started. And then after that, it will all depend upon how the new prospect or new lead interacts with that page. We might start sending them emails, or we might send them to a survey before they get on the call or before you go to an in-person meeting to make sure that they really are qualified to actually do business with you. So let's go ahead, start things off. There's going to be a timestamp table of contents in the description so you can easily skip around. The very first part of this is, of course, traffic. Where are all of your prospects coming from? Where are your potential leads coming from? And there are 3 primary sources that I recommend you start with when it comes to getting traffic to your landing pages. The first, of course, is YouTube. Obviously, I'm a little biased here as this is a YouTube video, but YouTube is, and specifically video, is a really great way to demonstrate your value and demonstrate that you can actually be helpful. Then, of course, if you don't want to hop on a video because it feels a little unnatural and uncomfortable, well, pretty much always is going to feel unnatural and uncomfortable just talking in a quiet room to a camera, then the next best step is creating blog posts that help solve micro problems for your ideal customer or your prospects. So obviously your product or service is going to help them achieve something that they're looking for, but they might also have smaller problems or other problems, or maybe they just have, a bunch of common questions people have that need to be answered before they get on the phone with you. This is a great source of content. And of course, you can take all of these suggestions and just start running ads. And ads on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and maybe Pinterest, depending upon your niche, might be a great opportunity for you to shortcut the process of what could take 3 to 6 months with content marketing, whereas traffic, as soon as you turn it on, or paid traffic, I should say, as soon as you turn it on, you'll start getting a fresh batch of leads every single day to your site. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out the links below on some detailed guides on how to actually build traffic campaigns to do this. And once you have your traffic sources, it's actually time to start talking about your lead magnet. So you'll notice there's a big blank here. We're actually going to skip the landing page because a landing page is just a bridge in between your traffic audience and content and your lead magnet. So you actually need to figure out what your lead magnet is first before you can can create your landing page. So we're going a little out of order here. Now, all a lead magnet is something of value that you offer in exchange for your prospect's contact information. So we'll get to what to put on the landing page in the next step, timestamp table of contents, of course. Here I'm going to go through 3 different types of lead magnets or value pieces you can offer in order to attract people to your website and actually enter their contact information to get the lead magnet. So the very first one we have, and this is what I recommend starting with, is just a plain PDF. And this is going to be an audit or a case study. And pretty much what we want to do here with the audit is we want to show them everything that they're doing wrong or things they might be missing, to really show them, hey, you might have thought that you've got this under control, but you might not have this under control. And of course, the whole point is to point at the problem or the issue that they might be facing and make it as big as possible without blowing it out of proportion, of course. And then with the case study, what you want to do is provide an example or walkthrough of how your product or service was helpful to someone similar to wherever the prospect is. And this shows the prospect that, number 1, you can actually be helpful. Number 2, it is possible to achieve that result. And number 3, they might actually learn something by hopping on a call with you. So in both of these, they're teeing up the value of actually jumping on the phone with you. With the audit, we're saying, hey, you have all these problems, you should probably talk to me. And then with the case study, we're saying, hey, we've actually done this for other people just like you, so you should probably talk to us. Now, the next one we have is a video presentation or webinar. This is going to be the most complicated on the list because creating a webinar takes a really long time. Now, you may have seen webinars that run 60 to 90 minutes. That's not something you need to do here, especially when you're just getting started. It can be a very short video presentation, and it could actually be the same content as a case study or an audit, just in video form, where you do a little bit of training, you do a little bit of teaching, and then at the end of the webinar, you say, hey, if you want to learn more or if you want to get some free advice on how to be more successful, click the link below the video in order to book a strategy call. And of course, if you're doing a video, this is going to be on the page that's right after the landing page, but we'll get to those 2 pages in a little bit here. And to do automated webinars, you really all you need is a page with a video on it. You don't need fake chats. You don't need to have people signing up for a specific time and then coming back later. That's just overcomplicating the process. If you do want to get complex though, then Stealth Seminar and EverWebinar are 2 great options in order to run automated webinars without pulling your hair out on the tech side of things. Now, the final one is a calculator or a free tool. Now, you don't have to be an Excel nerd. You don't have to know Google Sheets in order to do this. You can go over to a site like Fiverr or Upwork, Freelancer, or Guru and find someone who can put together a easy-to-use calculator for your ideal customer or prospects. And essentially what you're doing here is you're saying, hey, you know what, if maybe you're thinking about buying a house, maybe they're thinking about investing, as you'll see in a moment here, or maybe they're trying to lose weight and they don't know how to calculate their macros or how many calories they should be eating. Those are just a few basic examples, but essentially what you want to do is just give them a tiny tool that allows them to do some math, because nobody likes doing math or calculations. Well, a very small percentage of people do. And so for the rest of the world who doesn't actually like doing math, they can easily use your tool and shortcut what could be an arduous process of researching different formulas or trying to manually do the calculation. Now, we have 2 examples here, both on the PDF. The first one is an audit. This is an example from our company, Act Marketing, where we put together a just simple 10-page PDF that went through all of the typical things we see wrong inside of analytics accounts. So our potential clients and customers went through that and could go into their analytics and see, oh no, I didn't even know that I was supposed to check that button, or I didn't know that you could do this with analytics. So really opening their eyes to, hey, there's a lot you could be doing, or there's some things that might be broken, and if you want to get them fixed, because some of them were pretty technical, then we'd book a strategy call with them to see if they were a good fit, and of course, most importantly, make sure that we could actually help them with analytics. This next one we have is from another digital marketer named Eric Sue, and this is where he's offering a case study targeted at other digital marketers. So essentially he's saying, hey, I was able to achieve this result, and if you enter your email here, I'm going to show you how you can achieve the same result. So it's very, very specific to a certain set of people. He's not just saying, hey, I'm going to show you how to get clients for whatever type of business that you are. So it is important that as you think of your lead magnets, you really do want to focus on who's my ideal customer and who is really going to be getting value and benefit out of what I'm offering. And of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You have a lot more options, but these are the basic 3 that you can start with. And so once you know what your lead magnet is going to be, now we can go back and talk about the landing page, because the landing page is going to communicate how awesome the lead magnet is for your ideal customer and prospects. Now, there are a lot of things you can do with the landing page, but we really want to keep it simple in the beginning. So we'll go through a few landing page examples, and we'll kick things off with the primary reason we're putting together this landing page, and that is to collect contact information. So there is a lot of information you could ask for. We could ask for their name, their last name, email, phone number, and then we could even go so far as to say, hey, what's your company name, what's your budget, your size, your address, or have some sort of drop-down menu where people can say what type of customer they might be. You don't need any of this on your landing page. You may have seen this on other larger company sites, and really when you see this on someone else's landing page, essentially the problem they have that you most likely don't is they have way too many people. So they want to actually increase the barrier to entry. Whereas if you're just getting started, you can actually take all the information that you want to know before you book a sales call with somebody and ask on the survey, which we'll get to towards the end of this tutorial. So if you need information before you're jumping on the phone with someone, include that information on the survey, not on the landing page. On the landing page, the bare minimum we need is that email so we can follow up with them, because even if someone doesn't wind up booking a sales call with you or strategy or discovery call with you, there are things that you can do with those list of people to actually monetize or offer them something called an affiliate offer, where if they can't afford your service or they don't want to do business with you, you can give them other offers from other companies and get a commission. So you definitely don't want to leave any money on the table here. If you're paying or working really hard with your content marketing, let's get everyone into your lead generation process as possible, and then separate them later once you already have their contact information. So name, email, max. Now, what on earth do you actually put on the landing page? Great question. So here are the 5 essential elements of your landing page. We start off with the headline, and all the headline needs to do is answer the question, is this for me, and what's in it for me for your ideal customer? We'll go through 2 examples here in a second. Then we have the call to action, and this is simply where they're going to click so they can enter their contact information. If you want to do a little bit of a longer landing page, you'll have a couple bullet points that just talk about how awesome the lead magnet is for the person. So you don't want to talk about all the features. You really want to focus on what they're going to be able to learn or do as a result of getting the case study, getting the getting the audit, say that correctly, right? Getting the audit, or watching the presentation, webinar, free calculator, or Excel or Google Sheet. You definitely don't have to say that it's an Excel or Google Sheet, by the way. It's a quick tip. You can just say it's a calculator, because the perceived value of a calculator is much higher than the perceived value of just a plain old Google Sheet, right? Now, the next element you want is some sort of graphic representation of what they're going to get. So yes, these are all digital things, but it's very hard for someone to really visualize what they're going to receive. So if it's a PDF, you just show a cover of it. If it's a webinar, you can show a little clip from the webinar or a video. And if it's a calculator, you can get fancy or just show a little screenshot of what the calculator might look like. You'll see an example of that in a moment. And then the final part that you can have is proof. So if you already have some testimonials, then you can go ahead and include those. If you don't, that's okay. Proof isn't necessarily required in order to do this. Now, the first example we have is from a very well-known marketer, Neil Patel, and this is offering a webinar. So his headline is very simple and straightforward: how to generate 195,000 visitors a month without spending $1 on ads. So he's being very clear with, this is what you're going to learn. And this formula is actually one that you can use for almost any one of your lead magnets. So how to, the result that they're looking for, and then say without whatever they think they have to do in order to get the result that's being talked about. Immediately there's a call to action, and so if someone clicks that, a little pop-up pops up where they can enter their name and email and select their webinar time, because Neil Patel is being a little fancy and using an automated system for his webinars. Instead of having a picture of the webinar, he just has a picture of himself. And this works pretty well because he is already known and seen as an influencer. And if you're not already known and seen as an influencer, but you want to be, then you can go ahead and just put a big picture of yourself instead of a graphical representation of whatever the lead magnet is. Now here he just has a couple of bullet points, and then again, another call to action. You'll notice on this page, there's no social proof. Now this next one is an example from way back when I used to be a financial advisor, and this is where we were offering a free calculator for our potential clients to do some quick calculations on whether or not the stocks they were looking at would be good to include in their portfolios based upon whatever their portfolio goals are. So you see here, it's very basic. We have a clear graphic representation of what the calculator would look like. And yes, this is actually an Excel sheet. And then right below it, a place for their email. And then we have the headline and bullet points again. As you can see with both of these pages, you don't have to be super complex. It doesn't have to be super design intensive. Now, the next part of the process, once we have that email and name, or just email, we go ahead and send them to a thank you page or confirmation page. Now, on this page, there are a couple of things happening. Well, what's most important is you have some sort of call to action on this page that offers to book a strategy call with you pretty much immediately. So if you're doing a PDF, you'll have a message at the top that lets them know that their guide or case study audit is on the way, and it'll be in their inbox in 5 to 10 minutes. It's important that you don't put it right on this page. The reason you don't want to put it right on this page is below that you either want to have another headline and a little bit of text, or have a quick video and with a link to book a strategy call with you right then and there. So you immediately want to ask for the strategy call. If you're doing a presentation or video webinar, then you can go ahead and just have the video start playing and with the button to book a strategy call. If it's a calculator, you'll follow the same process as what you would be doing with the PDF guides or case study or audit. Now, to book strategy calls, I highly recommend using an automated feature, not the back and forth, emails of, hey, what time zone are you in? And then what time are you available? And especially as you get more leads, that's just not going to work, because you're going to give times to one person and then someone else is going to reply. You're going to book that time, and by the time the other person replies, that time that you offered is already gone. So just use something like Book Like a Boss, which has a free plan, or something like Calendly in order to automate this process, and you can actually set up specific dates and times that you're available to take calls. So you'll never get someone who books a call with you at like 9 o'clock at night unless you want to talk at 9 o'clock at night. Now, realistically, a very, very small portion of whoever's entered their name and email on your landing page is actually going to take you up on the free strategy call right then and there. They're most likely just going to want to get the lead magnet information and then just move on with their day or move on with whatever they're working on. And so here what we're going to do is we actually split into two different ways. The first way that we're going to talk about is if for the smallest percentage of people who actually do book a strategy call with you, we need to put them into a survey to pre-qualify them immediately. For the other 95% of people, we're going to put them through a rapport building sequence that will actually drive them back to this page in order to book a strategy call with you. So let's go ahead and talk about the survey. The survey doesn't have to be super involved. In fact, the shorter the survey, the more likely you are to get people to actually fill it out. Now, something that's important with the survey is you want this to come after someone has booked a time. So on the confirmation page, they choose a date and time, they say yes, and then both of these applications can automatically forward them to Google Forms, or you can use something like SurveyMonkey, but Google Forms is free. And this is an example from our particular agency, and it's just a couple of questions so that you can, number one, prepare for the call, and number two, they're actually in a position to do business with you. So they're in a position in their life or business where your product or service makes sense, and they have the budget, right? So you do want to have some sort of question in there that lets you get a sense of what their budget is. Because if someone can't afford you, then you just shouldn't be spending your time on a call with them. And maybe they can afford you, but whatever their situation is, isn't a good fit for whatever your product or service is. So you really want to make sure that when you're getting on the phone with somebody, that they can afford what you want and you have a good inclination that you can actually be helpful. Otherwise, we just want to let them know that, hey, I don't think this is a good fit. In our particular instance, we have a lot of people who come to us who want to run YouTube and Google and Facebook and Instagram ads. And so part of our pre-screening process is asking what their budget is, because depending upon the platform they want to use, if someone wants to run Google ads, but they only have $100 a week, there's no way that that's just going to work. Maybe if they wanted to do a little bit of Facebook and a little bit of YouTube, $100, maybe we could stretch it. But with Google ads, no way. They need at least 3 or 4 times that much. So we just let them know ahead of time, hey, I noticed that you filled it out and we have a call scheduled in a day or two, but you know what, $100 a month isn't really going to cut it for Google ads. So in that particular instance, we'd either just let them go and say, I'm sorry, we can't stretch $100, or we could offer other traffic platforms or other services we might think might be a better fit for their budget. But either way, you want to make sure that you have those conversations via email before you actually take your valuable time and jump on a call. Now, for the other 95% of people who actually don't book a strategy call or discovery sales call with you immediately, you're going to want to send them a series of follow-up emails. So the first email, of course, is going to be saying, hey, here's what you asked for. And the next 4 emails are just going to talk about their situation and how you can be helpful. So these are just a couple of examples of what you could do with these emails, but these aren't hard and fast rules. Typically, though, you're going to want to do 5 to 7 emails before you back off and say, okay, you know what? They just don't want to get on the phone with me, so now I'm going to just send them some content or just try and offer them something else after a week. Now, the second one, biggest challenge you face, you just want to talk about how hard it can be to achieve the result that they want and debunk some common myths, if you're aware of any, that are common buying objections. And of course, in the PS section, you'll say, hey, if you want to get over this, or if you don't want to experience this yourself, you can go ahead and book a free call with me, drive them back to the booking page. And now the third email is a great place to include a testimonial or personal story of success. If you don't have a personal story of success or you don't have a testimonial, then you can come up with a hypothetical story, although you just want to make sure that you're very clear that it is actually a hypothetical story. And again, in the PS, you can have some sort of tie-in to book a free call with me. Now, the next 2 are just going to be about benefits that your leads could enjoy as a result of actually getting on a call with you. So these 2 are kind of the hard sells, just really trying to push some buttons and say, you really should jump on the phone with me if you want to get this solved or get to the next level. And then after that, you just want to ease off the gas and go, okay, well, they didn't want to get on the phone with me. That's okay. It might take a little more content. It might take a little more time. And then you'll want to look at a longer term email marketing strategy for all of the people who don't actually wind up booking a call with you after the first 5 to 7 emails. And that is all there is to it, to our B2B sales funnel process. So here's the diagram of the funnel that we put together in this particular video again. And just to briefly recap everything that we went over, we started with traffic, talking about the different types of videos or blog posts we could put together in order to demonstrate our value or just answer some common questions that someone might need before they get on the phone with us. Or we just talked about running paid ads. Links in the description to some tutorial videos that walk you through how to set up those paid ad campaigns to drive traffic to your landing page. Now, when it comes to your landing page, you can use something like Thrive Themes if you're on WordPress. If you're not on WordPress, then using something like ClickFunnels or GetResponse for your landing pages is the way to go. Links in the description to learn more about all of those solutions. Then when it comes to your lead magnet, you can use a free tool called Canva to put together great looking PDFs. Stealth Seminar or Ever Webinar if you want to go ahead and create webinars, although Thrive Themes, ClickFunnels, and GetResponse all allow you to create webinars inside of their platform, although they're not as robust as EverWebinar and Stealth Seminar. And of course, you have Google Sheets and Excel for your calculator. Then whatever page builder you're using for your landing page, you'll want to use for your confirmation page. Google Forms has you covered with your pre-call survey. And then we have Calendly and Book Like a Boss for when you're actually scheduling calls. And for an email autoresponder, we recommend ConvertKit or GetResponse. Again, links in the description to all of these recommended resources so you can learn more. So thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope you got some value out of this video, and most importantly, you have a solid idea of what type of B2B funnel you can set up for your business to make sure that every time you go to a meeting, you jump on a sales call, the person is actually qualified, so you can spend more time with qualified people and have an automated process for getting those bookings. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more in-depth marketing and sales funnel strategy videos just like this one. And until the next, keep building the business you love.